ഹലോ സാറിൻ്റെ ഔട്ടും കൂടി നോക്കണം. പി എസ് സിക്ക് അത്ര കേൾക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. ഹലോ ഹലോ ചെക്ക്. ഹലോ 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 ചെക്ക്. ഹലോ ഹലോ ടെസ്റ്റ്. ഹലോ ടെസ്റ്റ്. ഹലോ 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 ചെക്ക്. ഹലോ 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 ചെക്ക്. ഹലോ 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 ടെസ്റ്റ്. ഹലോ ഹലോ. അവിടെ നിന്ന് സംസാരിക്കാൻ ഇങ്ങോട്ട് കേൾക്കുമോ? യൂട്യൂബ്. ആ ഓക്കെ അല്ലേ സാർ?
എവിടെ ചെക്ക് ഇൻ ചെയ്തു? ഹലോ. ആ എന്തെന്ത്? ആ അർജുൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആളിനോട് പറഞ്ഞോളൂ. ആ അർജുൻ ദേവ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ആൾ എവിടെ നിൽപ്പില്ലേ? ആ ആ എന്താ 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 ചോദിക്കുന്നത് ഇപ്പോൾ? ആ ഓക്കെ. ആ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ ഓക്കെ. ശരി 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 ഓക്കെ. എടാ ആ സിബിന അവൻ
Let's check along.
Good afternoon, sir. Can we start on the certificate? നീ തുടങ്ങാൻ പറയുമ്പോൾ ഞാൻ തുടങ്ങും. All. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Can we start, sir? I think we waited for long. More people may not come. Sir? Ha ha ha. Oh. People attending online, can you hear me? Raise your hand. Okay. Good afternoon, gentlemen. We are assembled here. Good afternoon, gentlemen. we are assembled in this special general body meeting with an agenda to vet and pass a resolution which should pave the way for conduct of e-voting for selection of office bearers of the OBA. As you are all aware, in the last AGBM, we have passed a resolution to de-link the reunion and the AGBM, because it was felt that during the reunion day, people are not getting sufficient time to debate or discuss or spend quality time for conduct of the general body meeting. Subsequently, in our first meeting as the executive committee, we decided that this has to be pursued. So when we start pursuing it, we realized the only way ahead may be conduct of a remote voting facility in some way or the other. Because to have another general body meeting in the middle of the year, separate from the reunion day, may not be feasible to even get a quorum. So it has to be done through remote methods was what is felt. Now, with that we examined the bylaws. So we realized the bylaw does not talk anything about the method of election. It just says election. However, the bylaw does say that the senior most old boy present should be the returning officer. Now, in a context where we are looking at remote voting, there is no senior most old boy present. So that particular clause of the bylaw requires to be amended if you have to pursue e-voting. So what we began as an attempt to refine this simple clause, that is to look at the returning officer's job, wherein here an e-voting system would require appointment of a returning officer ahead of the elections. So we started examining how to amend this. So that has led us to step by step, getting into the business of doing it. This opened up a vast range of challenges, questioning the basic rationale, methodology, and technological readiness of our processes, while also raising questions of basic elections principle for a well-organized body. Regardless of whether the elections are remote or physical, questions as basic as the announcement of elections, the nomination process, scrutiny of nominations to check candidates' eligibility, preparation of a voter roll, and ensuring only members vote, all of these surfaces challenges needing immediate revision and overhaul. Because moment you go in for e-voting, we'll have to ensure that only members are voting. Now then, we had to have the contact details of all the members. We had to have a methodology wherein which we can directly communicate with all the voters. So it became a slightly bigger exercise than what we initially envisaged when we set out. The best remedy turned out to be a single purpose one, all purpose one, which is remote elections. And in drawing up the process, it addressed not only the basic issue it set out to solve, but also set right all the above mentioned procedures and processes that needed urgent overhaul. However, as with any good solution, it comes with certain challenges. We must accept that the switching to a remote voting system presents some degree of difficulty for a considerable number of our alumni who are senior citizens. Some of them may not be comfortable with that. So we did 2 to 3 trial votings and did talk to people, and we have evolved a system in-house. See, when we decided that we have to go for remote voting, we approached, in our first EC meeting itself, we appointed a subcommittee to explore the feasibility of conducting e-voting. The subcommittee did a lot of market survey and all. It came out that the minimum amount required to conduct one election of this sort with about 3,000 to 4,000 members is about 1.5 lakh to 2 lakh rupees a single process. So now that was not viable for us with our economic resources at our disposal. So again, we tried how to go about it, and the General Secretary took it on himself and said, we will try to develop a software in-house. And he worked on it for almost 6 months, incorporating every safeguard which the bylaw has, and made a software ready. And parallelly, we also started getting the email IDs, official email IDs of every life member. And we also started a process of sensitizing people, old boys, to take membership of the association, telling that actually only a member of an association's vote is a valid vote. So you have to take a membership. So we started educating and putting up notices in public domain that somehow take the membership, coaxing people. We started another process of getting the email IDs and WhatsApp contact details. And then we made an official group which has all the life members so that official communication can be sent out. Like that, then we developed this in-house software incorporating all the safeties and firewalls that our bylaws have indented. And now we are almost ready. After the software was ready, we did 2 in-house trials within the executive committee, nominating somebody as a president and somebody as a vice president and some other appointment. And that came out to be successful, though there were some iterative changes, suggestions. Again, we worked on it for 1 or 2 months, incorporated them, did one more, and then we went public and carried out a trial elections. And we are now confident that we are on track for it. However, we need to enact this amendment, pass this amendment, so that we can proceed with the process. We must appreciate the fact that today we are no longer a small community where people know each other or things like that. We have grown to about 6,000 people, geographically spread from South America to Australia, and career-wise spread all over any other career. And limitations imposed by geography, limitations imposed by career, limitations imposed by global situations like wars and, does prevent people from traveling. And not everybody present day is able to make himself available for the general body meeting. That in no way is a reflection of his commitment to the organization or no. He may be fully committed but sitting in Australia and having a professional requirement, not able to come here on the 18th of July. But if somebody is managing his funds or somebody is managing the organization on his behalf, he definitely has to have a say in it. Secondly, over a period of time, what we have seen that a quorum of 100, very difficult to muster sometimes, in which the organizing batch will be the majority. If a smaller group decides that somebody has to be the president or somebody has to be the vice president or somebody has to be the general secretary, everybody is ready to move out of the auditorium, they just select somebody and goes. We do not know the credentials of the person. I have also become an office bearer like that, that's what I'm telling. Nobody knows the credentials, or nobody has the time to dwell on it. Whereas, we have seen that when we go for a remote or e-voting, you appoint a returning officer, starting from our senior most person. Then that returning officer gets nominations. That nominations, the software will check, does he qualify the criteria? Like somebody has to be the president, he has to be a member of the executive committee for the previous 2 years. Now, does he qualify the criteria? Or is he barred because of any reasons? And it automatically rejects, giving a reason. And finally, the list of candidates are published in the public domain, so that you and I have the time, resources to check the credentials of the person and assess the suitability against somebody else. And you get about 7 to 10 days, a week's time to assess whom you should cast your vote for. Then the voting window is also open for a week, so that across the globe, catering for holidays and everything, people have time to sit back, look at who is the candidate available to me and cast his vote. And another thing is, the way the software is designed, it is totally independent of the executive committee. Once the returning officer is appointed, he takes control of the software and nobody has any access to it. So, my own appeal, not as a president, as a member of the OBA would be, it is a necessity of the times and it is a requirement, it is a inescapable step in our evolution as a professional organization. With this, I hand you over to the General Secretary. He will go through the nitty-gritties of the election process and the procedures. And as I said in the morning, we will discuss, debate, or invest our intellectual capital for the betterment of our organization.
Windows P. Duplicate. Extend. അവിടെ
അപ്പൊ ഞാൻ സംസാരിക്കുന്നു.
അതെ.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope people who are watching online are able to see that is our basic requirement and concern today. Okay, I'll be briefly explaining the resolutions which we are planning to, intending to present today. I intend to bring in front of you the resolutions which we are going to bring to the House today. Okay, firstly, we are going to see why the President has already briefly, in fact, in detail touched on it, why this amendment was needed, what was that hidden line in our bylaws. We actually, if everybody remembers who was here in the last AGBM, we all know that there was a clear-cut decision that we had taken that we delink AGBM and reunion day because of all that valid reasons. Now, delinking AGBM, we also talked of e-voting, we will do trial and do everything, and everything was done also. But however, the clause about returning officer, we just changed an amendment in that amendment that from in the original bylaw, it's saying the returning officer will be the senior most person, old boy, who will be present on the reunion day. But we changed it in the last AGBM, the general body changed it to senior most OB present on the AGM. So though the AGM got delinked from reunion day, the returning officer did not get delinked from the AGM day. So now when we sat on actually doing remote elections, as President told clearly, then we started that elections actually start much before voting. Voting is just one part of elections. And the returning officer has to be in charge right from the beginning. So that is a small thing which we had to get back. Another thing which is linked to this is also that we realize slowly that voting in our bylaws, it does not say that we have to vote by show of hands only. In fact, it does not say anything about the mode of voting. It can be secret ballot, it can be show of hands, it can be electronic, it can be digital. So irrespective of whether returning officer is there on that day or as it stands, purely the original bylaw, voting can be done by any means, if you read it thoroughly. So, however, to do it in a practical manner, so what we are essentially doing is more than going for e-voting is mode of voting. We are attempting at a complete electoral reform, we can say, not a reform or setting the thing right. Even in this process, we will see the SOP which we are presenting is that the executive committee is free to decide the mode of voting. Even in this SOP, it does not say that it has to be e-voting. It's not a e-voting SOP. It is a SOP for conduct of elections. So the mandatory things which this SOP says are that you have to have a proper voter roll, you have to have a verified voter roll, you have to give everybody a chance to raise objections to get included in the voter roll. There has to be a proper nomination process, there has to be proper scrutiny of nominations, candidate list published, and then voting. So when we talk of voting, we talk only of that one part of voting. Okay, so the first resolution is naturally for that SOP to take effect, we need that small bylaw amendment clause by clause in full. Now that we are, whether we change one line like changing a returning officer, instead of that, why don't we put the whole system proper? So we have proposing a replacement of that existing election para with another clause by clause statement. Then we'll see the election timeline, what are the safeguards built into it, then the resolution 2, briefly about what that SOP involves, and after that we'll give a live demo of the system which has been designed. Can self-explanatory. Okay. Yeah, this also. Fine, sir. This amendment does not mandate electronic voting. It states a preference for it. It says preferably it should be electronic voting, and if you're not doing it, you should record it, why you're not doing it. That's how the SOP is worded. And if at all you're doing physical also, it should be secret ballot and avoid the show of hands. Whatever mode is chosen, the full process still applies. RO selection, voter roll, nomination, everything. This means that even if voting is carried out in physical mode, the rest of the process stands, including that contestants are no longer required to be physically present for the process to run. Means for a nominee, he can give his nomination and he need not be present on the day of voting. He has given his nomination, no, voting can be conducted. That single change, removing the mandatory physical preference, opens field to a far larger pool of capable members, regardless of which mode of voting is eventually chosen. Just that removing the physical presence requirement gives us a huge pool to select from. A larger pool of willing eligible candidates is a direct gain in efficiency for this association, independent of how a single ballot is cast. Okay, now this is eye-opener, which for me at least it was when we started studying elections. In such a big bylaw, this is all it says about election. And I think there are only 2 words in this para also. the returning officer shall conduct elections and he may take the president's help. So this is the entire clause. It names a returning officer, it prescribes no process, no voter or nothing. So we are trying, the proposed replacement, we are putting in all these clauses, what election should have. Returning officer, a standby, a technical election manager, which is optional, then scrutineers and observers for the election, voter roll, nomination, scrutiny, somebody to appeal to if there is a grievance, appeals panel, uncontested cases, and multi-seat posts are there, like VP and Joint Secretary. What do we do with them? Voting, how to vote, what to do with the results, candidate eligibility, caretaker executive committee, contingencies. We have thought of extreme contingencies and operating procedures, how they are revised. To note, the bottom line says candidate eligibility of President, General Secretary and anybody that have not been touched, because this is primarily to do with elections. So the eligibility part has not been touched or proposed to be touched. Returning officer, this is what the clause, the new clause say. Now I am going clause by clause of this amendment. I am just laying down in the whole amendment so that when the resolution comes, you know what the resolution is. This is the first clause of the amendment. The executive committee shall sufficiently in advance of the annual general body meeting ascertain the willingness of life members in order of seniority to serve as returning officers and publish a panel for member objection. The senior-most willing eligible member against whom no valid objection stands shall be appointed the returning officer. Self-explanatory. The executive committee shall continue this process down the order of seniority till the role is filled. Means we get a willing senior-most person against whom there is no valid objection. The two clauses. So then there is a 5-day objection window we have put in the SOP for this. After that, he is appointed. Now one thing to note in this election, the amendment, yes, sir. Sir. Deputy returning officer, this is contingency. The returning officer may designate a deputy returning officer from the panel published for the purpose of RO selection. The deputy returning officer may be activated only upon the returning officer's confirmed unavailability and shall operate under the same authority and constraints as the returning officer for the duration of activation, means the election period. Or not the election period, for that period in which he is activated. Like the election or returning officer falls sick or has some unforeseen contingency, then the deputy RO takes charge, and once the returning officer is back, the RO again takes charge. So that is the duration of activation. Sir. Sir. Yes, sir, it's written, no, the returning officer from the panel published for the purpose. Correct, sir. Correct, sir. Every office of the deputy returning officer shall be honorary. That is again a point for larger discussion some other day, that why it should be honorary when somebody is working. Technical election manager. The returning officer may, if deemed necessary, appoint a technical election manager to assist him in the administration of the election management system, particularly on the election management system. The technical election manager shall act solely under the direction and authorization of the returning officer and shall have no independent constitutional authority over the conduct of the election. This is just to, somebody who feels not fully confident in operating the systems, he can have a technical election manager who can assist him with operating systems. The procedures he may be much screwed up, but for the systems, he can take an assistance, and the software ensures that that person, the technical election manager, cannot act independently whatsoever. It has to be authorized by the RO. So the RO decides if TM is needed. Below you see the explanation. TM is appointed, acts under the RO. Every TM action is logged against a specific authorization. If not appointed, the decision is recorded in the election proceeds. Scrutineers and observers. Executive committee shall appoint not less than 2 scrutineers to witness and verify the election process. This is just an oversight. Like an RO is an independent entity working, a single man. So just as an oversight, EC has 2 people as overseers. Scrutineers shall be life members who are not contesting any post and are not members of the current executive committee. The returning officer may accredit observers. This is in addition to the scrutineers. They are observers who may include representatives nominated by contesting candidates with access to aggregate data only. Tomorrow I am contesting and I feel that I need to have an observer in your counting system when the voting starts and this thing goes on, voting is on. I can request the RO for putting an observer. The RO can accredit him and give him an access to the aggregate voting data only. This is just to see that there is no bulk voting happening in 2 minutes, like 100 people are voting. That kind of variations, maybe an observer, if somebody is doubtful, he can have an observer to check that. Yeah, scrutineers are, because RO is a person, RO is somebody independently working on the system. So scrutineers are 2 people, they have only read access. They don't have write access to the system, and that too only to certain features of the system, just read access. So it is like an oversight of the, over the process. Sorry? Election cannot be? Election of the scrutineer. Yeah, it is an executive committee function. Yeah, that is how we have put it. No, scrutineer, as I told you, scrutineer does not have any write function. It is a read function. So it is, see, if somebody has to represent the OBA to oversee, it is somebody who is to be deputed by the executive committee, right? Huh. Sorry, come. Yeah, correct. No. Because that person does not have any authority to act on anything. He is not acting on anything. He is just looking at the processes. He is just seeing from the EC side at the process. That is why it has not been kept. He can only give a feedback that there is a, in the system there is a communication channel between the scrutineer and the RO. So whenever they can directly SMS each other, like scrutineer writes to RO, sir, there is something which should not be the way it is, or it's appearing like this. RO gives an observation. Everything is recorded in the system itself. So whatever communication takes place between them. So that is how it is put there. Sir, okay, I'll just clarify. Sir. There are 2 resolutions today. One is adoption of the SOP. One is adoption of the bylaw amendment. The one which we are talking is the bylaw amendment. So the bylaw amendments are basically principle-based statements. It does not go into the details. It says they are principle-based statements, if you see. How each of these statements are executed lies in the SOP. Each of the details lies in the SOP. We can come to that. Sir? This is the document, sir. This is the whole replacement para. The one below is just an explanation part, sir. Just to simplify and That's not part of that. What is see on the top is the text. Next, regarding the voter roll, what does this say? Only life members as on a cutoff date determined by the executive committee shall be entitled to vote. The office bearers shall prepare a draft voter roll and hand it over to the returning officer, who shall publish it for member objection. That voter roll will be published in the, yeah. കേട്ടില്ല എന്താണ് valid objection. Okay, see, valid objection, you cannot quantify certain things. Right, I say that this RO is there, I know that he is a corrupt RO, then I have to give a proof that why I am saying he is a corrupt RO. Okay, I am saying that this RO, I know he is fraud or he is not deserving. There has to be some basis on which I say, I give some document or I give some experience or some news clips, which is common sense, you can assess, and the executive committee in its wisdom can decide, okay, is it valid or not? There is no shortage of people. No, if they feel it's valid, even if some slightly they feel it is valid, they'll go to the next person. There is no shortage of people. So that is what we mean by valid objection. Okay, the office bearer shall prepare a draft voter roll and hand it to the returning officer, who shall publish it for the member objection, consider all objections and certify the final voter roll before the voting window opens. Yeah, so this process is there. Once the voter roll is put, whatever the executive committee gives, the RO will put it in the public domain and say that this is the voter roll. If anybody has some addition or deletions to recommend, please give with your proof. And then he will correct it, and then he'll finalize it. After that, there won't be any change. Time, sir. Yeah, there is, that is in the SOP, sir. As I said, this is the like principle. When we come to the SOP, there are times. Office bearers prepare a draft roll, RO publishes for objection, objections are considered, then below RO certifies, then it is logged. Now coming to nominations. The returning officer shall issue a notification calling for nominations to all posts. Each nomination shall require the confirmation of a proposer and a seconder, both life members. A candidate may not be their own proposer or seconder. Nomination shall be submitted through means designated by the RO, including online submission. It's just saying that nomination have to reach. How it will come, that all detailed in the SOP. Scrutiny. RO shall scrutinize each nomination and verify the eligibility of the candidate. RO may seek clarification from any candidate or from the executive committee on matters of institutional record. Sir. Yes, sir. Sir. Yes. If a nominee is rejected, sir, he will get immediately mail. Any rejection is accompanied by a mail saying the reason. Yes. Sir, yes, that is clearly there, sir. Whether it is eligibility, tenure bar, or multiple reasons, whatever, not a life member, these are the basic two conditions under which somebody cannot be considered. That will go, sir. That is going. And scrutiny, again, RO may seek clarification from a candidate or the executive committee on matter. Doable, sir. Not at all a big. It can be done, sir. It can be. That can be done, sir. It is there in the system. I told you there is appeals panel from the people. There is a panel of 15 people who are shortlisted for ROs. The senior most without a valid objection becomes the RO. The next one, generally, whoever it can be, RO selects one person as the deputy RO. He'll select two more people, or the executive committee will approach two more people. Along with the deputy RO, there will be three people who becomes the appeal panel. And they have no other role, only to look at the reasons. If you get rejected by the RO, you have all the freedom to appeal to the appeals committee with a reason. So their call will be final. And if the appeal committee says RO should reverse the decision and include his nomination in, it will be done. And vice versa also. If you feel that my nomination is not fair, you can also appeal. RO has permitted my nomination, he has cleared my nomination, and I don't deserve a nomination. You can write to the appeals panel. That provision is there in the system. Sir? Sorry. There is something called a consent. That the person who is being nominated, without his consent, his name will not come into nomination proper. The nomination will be full only when the person himself consents to it and proposer and seconder are there. So here what we are doing is, their nomination extends over 7 days. That very rarely nomination goes 7 days. That is exactly for this purpose, that we can persuade each other. 7 days is again divided into 2. The first 7 days, 14 days are divided into 2. The first 7 days you are supposed to nominate yourself. Like I cannot nominate you to be the president. If I want to be the president, I can nominate myself. And I'll say, you may be my proposer or you may be my seconder. And after first week, you see that there is no president or there is no joint secretary, then you can nominate your friend. You can nominate somebody else. You call him that I'm going to nominate you, you better consent and all. Sir. No, sir, if I am proposing your name, you don't consent. I ask you to give consent, you refusing. So then I can withdraw it. Till the time you have not given consent, I can withdraw that nomination, because till the time you have not consented, I am the one who has proposed you. So I can take it back. And I can say he is not consenting, give somebody else's name. Sir. Sir. Sir, not giving consent means there are two ways. One is he says reject consent. I decline consent. That means that is cancelled. You have to restart the process. The other is you just keeping quiet. That application is there. Anytime you can give consent till that nomination window is open. So if you decline it, then somebody has to nominate you again. Again you can be nominated. Yes. Okay. So scrutiny, returning officer shall scrutinize each. This is a very important part of the election. And this is the time, this is the part which takes most time in this election from the RO side. The RO, returning officer, shall scrutinize each nomination and verify the eligibility of the candidate. The RO may seek clarification from any candidate or from the executive committee on matters of institutional record. Acceptance or rejection is communicated with written reasons in case of rejection. On completion, the final candidate list is published. That is, once the scrutiny window is over, the candidate list becomes published. Even after that, there 24 hours window is given for any candidate to withdraw. Appeals panel. Yeah, this is a doubt. Executive committee shall constitute an appeals panel drawn from the panel published for RO selection. Means they are people who already do not have any objection and the window has been given for their objection. So, executive committee selects an appeal panel. The panel shall hear appeals against nomination rejections and against decisions or sanctions imposed in the conduct of the election. The decision of the appeals panel shall be final for the purposes of that current election. Any decision can be again raised to the general body, but that will be more of a systemic grievance than a complaint against that particular one. For that particular election, what appeals panel will say will be final. Where only valid nomination is received for a post, the candidate shall be declared elected without a vote. Simple. Where no valid nomination is received for president, a vice president, general secretary or treasurer, the election shall not proceed and matter goes to the general body. For any other post, it remains vacant and is filled by co-option. So, this is an important clause. We had decided, the committee, basically the drafting committee decided there are 4 posts which should not be left vacant in any case. President, vice president, one vice president at least, treasurer and general secretary. If they are vacant, you keep extending the nomination window. You don't proceed with voting. And you keep extending and it reaches the AGM day itself. The AGM day comes and still nobody has consented. Then the AGM takes a call. Either they push up somebody on that day or they say, okay, let's go ahead without that post with a proper resolution. Only in that case, this goes ahead. In either case, what happens is, the AGM has happened and elections are still not finalized. So you have a scenario when, suppose on the AGM, you manage to push up a candidate, but again he will need to undergo voting. So that means the voting will finish or the election process will finish after a week or 10 days of the AGM. So for this period, till the elections finish, AGM will assume that or empower the outgoing executive committee to continue as a caretaker executive committee till the elections finish and the new executive committee comes in. So that provision has been given. Voting shall be conducted in such mode as decided by the executive committee, preferably by electronic means. The mode of voting is independent of the mode of AGM. This is very important. Where physical voting is used, the reasons are to be recorded, communicated to all members, and it shall be by secret ballot. Every life member has 1 vote per eligible post. Secrecy is preserved in all modes. Sir. Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 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 Sir, the worst condition is like the 14 days gap you're saying will be taken care of automatically, because either there are 2 cases which will happen on the AGM day. Either you get a candidate. So if you get a candidate, the next day voting starts and it will finish in 7 days. The voting can finish in 5 days or 7 days, and the next committee election bearers will be out by that time. The next election committee. The second case is that nobody comes in the AGM also, you are not able to push up somebody as the candidate. So then AGM resolves to go ahead, leaving that post vacant. So again the elections start immediately. Yes, sir. Sir, as per my understanding, may not be that all AGMs are having elections on the same day. Elections are conducted within on separate times from the AGM as well. Sir. So, so then they will be the caretaker office bearers who are there at that time. That minutes will be, the office bearers will be there. Yeah, when the next. Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
The act or rule does not specifically say that election needs to be conducted only in the AGM.
Yes, sir.
So
That,
election may be conducted even after that. AGM can take a resolution that till the election is conducted and the new committee is formed, the present committee continues. That is possible. So there's not a need to really proceed forward.
that was my understanding as well, sir. Elections may be separate from this thing also. Right, sir. We'll look at it once again. So, results. Upon close of voting, the returning officer with the scrutinizers verify the count and certifies results. Results are declared at the earliest practicable time and formally announced at the AGM. Ties are broken by a draw of lots before the scrutineers. The complete election record is filed with the incoming General Secretary the day the election concludes. So, everything is submitted to the new General Secretary on the incoming this thing. Sorry?
Only by electronic means.
Yeah.
So, do you intend to use the software which you are testing out?
Correct. Any software, that means?
Explain a little bit about the software. So,
Yeah. So this is, that's there in the, this thing, that's there in the second part of it. Okay. Sir. 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 No, if you have it, we can right away check it. We have the bylaws and MOUs.
Another angle of what is that whether the election, actually the election has to be, if at all you are going for e-voting, it has to be conducted first.
Sir, sorry, sir.
If we are going for the e-voting, that has to be conducted first. And then the list has to be confirmed by the
Correct, sir. That is the process. This is kind of a worst case scenario, sir. Like we are just covering the loops. Actually, it won't happen that you won't get anybody and you go till AGAPM. Somebody will come up. Sir. 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 Yeah. Yes. Sir. Sir, actually, the present, as per the present bylaw, this provision of mandatory post itself is not there. So even anybody can be co-opted as president. So it is, no, any post which is not filled can be co-opted. It doesn't say that president cannot be co-opted. It only says any post which has not been filled can be co-opted. Correct, sir. Yeah, so it may not be somebody may not be there, but the committee can be there. Yes, sir. So the AGM, we can easily create AGM as the culmination. It was the way we designed the SOP in the beginning was that only. But this contingency, extreme contingency, we were trying to close the loop. Otherwise, we decide, we give a different criteria, or we can just take out this criteria of mandatory post. No, sir. No, we can have a look, sir. We can straight away have a look. There is no, I think there is no clause that says what you're saying. We can straight away have a look at that. Giri? Mouse working.
അപ്പുറത്ത് സ്ക്രീനിൽ കിടക്കുകയായിരുന്നു mouse.
See, that is a business. The ordinary business. Sir, I'm. Article 5. Four. This is 4. This is 4.
So he has to get the date when you renew the association, and the reference to renewal of the association is the annual general meeting and the minutes of the annual general meeting. So it appears to me that the process of election has to be completed by the time the annual general body meeting is held. can be earlier, but whether it can be given as a contingency, whether it can go beyond, is in doubt. So I'm just throwing it to you to give it a look.
Sir.
Thank you.
Got it, sir. Okay, moving ahead.
Okay. Regarding this, the annual general body is empowered to take decisions. Whether to hold elections on that day itself or whether to move it on to another day is the prerogative of the AGM. The general body members who are attending the general body and the quorum is sufficient. It can take the decision. You don't go back referring to bylaws, MOA and all that. Because this is the body which has made and accepted the bylaw and the MOA. Any changes in anything regarding the conduct can be approved by the AGM. It's as simple as that.
Right, sir.
What I mean to say is, you were just questioning whether the elections are sacrosanct to the AGM. Need not necessarily.
Correct.
It can even be held later. There
We-
should be nothing binding on it that AGM itself should hold the elections also.
Sir, this point was actually discussed in the drafting committee, and then everybody finalized on this that can be done. Anyway, it's open for voters to assimilate all this so that finally when the decision time comes, you can apply your mind. Yes.
These are told. So it is not binding, but where Marodi sir told is that actually whomsoever it is elected, that has to be approved by the AGM definitely. So if at all it is there, we are doing it before that, the very next week or week after that, keep an AGM and then get it approved. That's all.
Yeah, so actually the wording says that the executive committee will, as soon as the election finishes, the executive committee, the outgoing executive committee will convene a meeting, appropriate meeting. Sajad sir will remember that word. Appropriate meeting which will empower the next body of people as the next executive committee. That is how the wording is. One.
The registrars means AGM. AGM. So that is, it is not between us, the elections can be before or after. But once after the election, the AGM should approve that body.
Got it.
Then it will go to the.
So,
to resolve this problem, if the election has not been completed by the annual general body meeting, during the annual general body meeting, a decision can be taken that these posts has to be filled and a special general body meeting will be held by this day, and that meeting will confirm the members.
so this is the actually the worst case. We don't have. Sir, I think we'll keep the format like this. This is a thing which is drafted by a committee, circulated by members, feedback taken. All these points actually could have come at that time. Deliberations could have taken place. Now the thing is explanation of it and putting it to vote. So we take all these points. And let the members use their wisdom. Sir, so legal requirement is again a contested one. This is not a confirmed one. Sir.
You just wrote that certificate. Some of you may not have ever seen that certificate. There is an annual renewal certificate which the Registrar of Societies issues every year. And for him to issue that, he requires two things. One, he requires the name of the office bearers. Because from that moment onwards, he is not bothered about the association, he is bothered about
Sir,
I'm coming to it. So therefore, when you go for renewal of the association, you have to do two things. The minutes of the meeting, which you may not hand over to him, but you should have. And the extract of the list of office bearers which you submit. See, these two things are mandatory for renewal of the association. That's why I'm just saying that you have a look at it. I'm not saying we need to take a decision right here, but keep it in mind and take a decision.
Okay. Fine, sir.
Philip, one more thing. Is this the general body meeting or special general body meeting?
Special general.
Annual general body meeting or special general body meeting?
Special general body meeting, sir.
Then, in Article 5, clause 1, subsection 2 says, the rules framed here shall be altered, amended, or abridged only at the general body meeting of the association.
So this is a general body meeting of the association only, sir.
Okay, I agree.
Sir.
This really is, we are treating the general body. Because telling STM, special general body meeting, is for two reasons. One is the quorum required will be only 50, whereas for the annual general body meeting it is 100. Two, the statement of accounts need not be submitted before the
Sir, because AGBM has got a set things to deal with. It's a general body meeting which has got a routine things. SGM is convened when you have a...
body meeting is due. When the annual general body meeting is due, you have to conduct the annual general body meeting. Then
Fine, sir.
after that, you have to conduct the special general body meeting if it is necessary. Is that
Understood, sir. You are...
Why does amend the bylaws so that general body meeting, the election can be conducted in the way that we want to conduct it. So that is all the purpose of this meeting is.
But what I am saying is, when the annual general body meeting is due, we should conduct the
No, annual general body meeting is due only by September.
Yes, September, sir. 30th September.
can be extended. Actually, it is within 1 year, after 1 year.
Sir, we have...
Why the special general body meeting is being held is because we want to carry out an election in a particular manner and then validate it during the annual general body meeting.
So we have the annual general body meeting due from within 9 months from the end of the financial year, which comes to 30th September. So that is the time the beyond which AGBM should not go. So that is why we are doing this, sir. Okay. Okay. So we'll just move ahead, sir. Candidate eligibility. Candidate eligibility for each post shall be as specified in the subsections 4, 5 and 6 of this article, which applies equally regardless of the mode of voting. Again, mode of the voting has nothing to do with the eligibility. For any mode it is same. The detailed eligibility metrics and scrutiny procedures are as specified in the operating procedures. Exactly, the principle is already there in the bylaw. The exact details are given in the SOP. Caretaker Executive Committee, sir, we have already discussed this in detail right now on both this thing. Where the election cannot be concluded by the AGMD, the outgoing Executive Committee shall continue in a caretaker capacity with powers determined by the general body until the incoming Executive Committee takes charge on conclusion of the election at the earliest practicable time at a meeting convened for that purpose. Yes. Operating procedures.
No, the previous point is got a catch. The legality has to be looked into because if the general body, you're saying that we will convene another meeting, that means it will be another general body for election for the office bearers. Because if you had an AGM.
So that is the point which he has also said that it is not very mandatory.
He says something, I'm saying something, he says there are different people, so you please have it very
Yes, sir, that anything can be continue. Revision can be a continuous process.
not revision, you have to take a legal opinion.
Sir.
Ask the concerned people and find out what is the actual position of it. We are saying from memory.
Sir. Operating procedures.
So, after the elections, if you are submitting the list, the AGM general body has to approve it. So that list, sometimes the registrar wants to view that list, you will have to show the register also.
Sir, this thing which you're raising, the point, understood, sir. This point which you're raising, if you see, actually, it is not a very critical point. It can just be taken off. This para can just be taken off because that election is not going to go out of the AGM anyway. It's going to finish there. So, but we are just considering the worst case scenario. We need not. That is why this. You can just take off this paragraph easily from this.
Today, I think you just take it off because the contingency for worst case scenario cannot be against the existing law, whatever it is there. We'll have to verify. Otherwise, simply take it off and we have to run with it.
Right. So after the complete discussion, we can take a call on whether we should take this out and put the resolution without this, or we should go ahead with this. Operating procedures. The Executive Committee shall frame operating procedures for the conduct of elections consistent with this clause. Such operating procedures shall be placed before the annual general body meeting for information. Executive Committee may amend the operating procedures from time to time consistent with the bylaws. So this is only the operating procedures, not the this thing. Yeah, we had a point regarding the timeline of elections. This is interesting. Please look at the rightmost point, that is V minus 0. That is the day of AGBM. That is the day in which AGBM is announced. Then you have 7 days before that the results are verified and declared. 9 days before the voting window is closing. So these 2 days were verification of results. And before 16th day the voting window is opening. That means 16 minus 9, 7 days are the voting windows. And before that 19th, that means another 3 days before you have the scrutiny which finishes. Means the scrutiny of the nominations are finishing, and after that there are 3 clear days before voting starts. Scrutiny finishes, the candidates list will be published. 1 day is given for the candidate to withdraw his nominations. Then 2 more days are there, after which the voting window opens. This 3 days are given because before the voting window opens, there is a series of checks and balances which the RO and scrutineers are supposed to do before the voting window starts. So 19th, you are saying the window scrutiny closes. That means before that 2 weeks, you have the nominations which are open. Nominations close on V minus 24, and after that the voter roll is certified. Till then the draft voter roll is in effect. So then V minus 38, that is another 14 days before, you have the nominations opening. Nominations called for. That means the nomination opens on V minus 38 and V minus 24 is the nominations closing. V minus 45 is the RO panel published after objections. RO panel of 15 are published, sorry, V minus 45 is when the 15 ROs are published, then 5 days are given for objection of RO, and V minus 40 is when the RO will be appointed, and then V minus 38 the nomination will start. And the easiest to start approaching senior OBs by V minus 47 latest. We can start approaching even much before that to get their willingness. So now the line below says every phase carries a minimum floor. So you have some minimum gaps to be maintained. Nomination windows are 14 days, scrutiny of 5 days, voting of 7 days. And they can only be extended, never shortened. Never shortened below that floor except through the limited stage compression rule described next. This is a provision which we are given that suppose you see the nomination windows extended a little bit unnecessarily through 5 days, then RO can exercise his discretion to reduce the voting window from 7 to 5. 5 is the minimum. Same way, if he feels the nomination can be compressed from 14 to 10, that is given in the SOP. Again, there is a minimum limit given, beyond which the compression is not also allowed. That is what it means. So we are actually running short of time. Resolution, okay, we'll put the resolution and then because actually the question answer session we had kept as separate. Now that the question answer sessions are ongoing, we'll finish this and put the resolutions. Voter roll logged at voter roll is logged at certification. There is no addition which can happen after that. 1 post per person, it is automatically enforced. You cannot apply for 2 posts when 1 nomination is on. There is a withdrawal deadline logged after the day the candidate list is published. Mandatory post, we already discussed President, VP, General Secretary, Treasurer. Every technical election manager action requires a specific logged authorization from the RO. Scrutineers have read access to the system's activity log from day one, not only at counting time. Scrutineers have read access to everything, so that is their oversight job. A tie is broken by draw of lots, conducted in front of the scrutineers, and that is final. So these are the checks and blocks in the system. Principle in the bylaw, procedure in the SOP. The bylaw clause you're talking asked to adopt fixes principles, not mechanics, who, what safeguards, what rights of appeal. It does not name specific software or platform. Voting mode is decided by the EC, preferably electronic. Detailed procedure, timelines, forms, checklists, situations in the election SOP, sits in the election SOP, not in the bylaw itself, all these detailed procedures. This means technology can evolve without ever requiring two-thirds general body meeting to vote again. Suppose tomorrow another software comes, you don't need a general body to do that. The principles are already here in the this thing. EC may refine the SOP over time, but only within the boundaries of the bylaw fixed today and always reported to the AGA. So having done this discussion, this is the resolution, adoption of the bylaw. Resolved that this special general body meeting of the SSKZM Old Boys Association does hereby adopt in its entirety the replacement of Article 4, Section 1A, subsection 3 of the bylaws with the principle-based elections clause comprising subclauses A to N as tabled before this meeting. Further resolved that subsections 4, 5 and 6 of Article 4 governing candidate eligibility and the tenure bars shall remain unchanged and in full force and effect. Further resolved that the General Secretary be and is hereby authorized to certify a true copy of this resolution and to file the same with the Registrar of Societies within 14 days of adoption under Section 22 of the Travancore Cochin Literary and Society Act. So that also takes care of that question which you're saying that it will be ingrained in our bylaw itself that this kind of a contingency we are foreseeing. So this is the resolution which is put for adoption. Resolution 1. The standard operating procedure operationalization bylaw clause you have just seen in full working detail. What is the election SOP? That's the question. It cannot override the bylaw. Where the two conflict, the bylaw prevails always. It sets out, the SOP sets out exact timelines, when the RO panel is published. That's all in the SOP. It supplies every form and checklist, nomination form, etc. The executive committee may amend the SOP over time, but only within the bylaw's boundaries and report it to the AG. Okay, so that is the resolution 1. Now coming to the adoption of election SOP. Resolved that the special general body meeting of the SSKZM does hereby adopt the standard operating procedure for the conduct of elections as tabled before this meeting. Actually, this tabled before this meeting means this document has been circulated and in possession of all members who were interested to study it for more than a month now. It is the same document, so tabling means we are tabling a gist of it. It's already been circulated and it is already with everybody. Further resolved that the executive committee be and is hereby authorized to amend the standard operating procedure from time to time consistent with the bylaws, provided that any such amendment shall be placed before the next annual general body meeting for the information. So, no, sir, the SOP amendment.
Ratification. Otherwise, you don't have to do anything.
The SOP is at least
General body is adopting. You go to the previous. General body is adopting this SOP, right? Yeah. So now you're saying executive committee can amend it. Yeah. If the executive committee amends what is already adopted by a general body, then it will come for ratification. It will come the next opportunity. That is the procedure.
for ratification.
Yeah, at the end you have written, place before the next committee general body meeting for information. That should be replaced as for.
The control is in the bylaw. The executive committee is only amending the SOP. How to go about doing a thing. There are 10 ways. Tomorrow executive committee can say we will not use this software, we will use another software which has got a different design. So that freedom is with the executive committee. SOP, not the bylaw.
It is something which is adopted by the general body. Yes. So if the EC is amending what is already adopted by a general body, it That's the right procedure.
So that is it, sir. We have, like somebody was asking about the detailed election procedure. You have any specific doubt on that and the system? I can answer that. Otherwise, there is a presentation which gives in detail the explanation of the election system as well. Because we have already gone through the trial voting and people are generally seen what the system is. Oh yes, if you have seen the link, the page which you had given right from the beginning, 2 months back itself, it was clearly mentioned that the code used for writing this is open source. The code is uploaded in GitHub, SSKZM OBA GitHub, and every commit is clearly mentioned in that. And before running the voting, before the election, as a checks and balance, the version of the code which runs for the election and the commit, latest commit which has gone to the GitHub, both are noted by ROs and scrutineers and ensured that it doesn't change in between the elections. And it's open for anybody to review. Yeah, so shall we go to votes? Okay, these are the elections. Now we are voting. I'm opening it for people online so that they can vote as well. We have tried a trial in the easy and confirmed that this voting was working. However, live on a stage we are doing here. For physical people here, we can do it here itself. Online aanengi ipo poliyam sir. I mean that's what you should open the link. All people who are online, they can open the link which is given to you. See, now the resolution has appeared. Even you can do it on the mobile, your own mobiles, which if you've seen, you must have received an email today morning. And if you open the link, you will get this resolution. And once you vote here, we can see the live results as well. I request all people in the online, who are attending it online, to kindly vote for the resolution. You can read again if you want. The resolution text is there. The full document is also there. So actually you can choose to vote. Maybe we will see, sir. I'll just show it here. I have voted online. Yeah, see, sir, 3 votes are already on. You can see the live votes. You also vote. Your votes will come here. if anybody is watching us online, you're also requested to cast your vote using the email link which was sent. Unless, sir, the email, you have to look in your email. These are all people who are voting. Okay. It happens to be, there's a pattern we can see, it's all EC members. The link which was sent that day, that is the one which is working. Maybe the other links are not coming in.
Links sent to us, I don't think are working.
Yeah.
All of us have the same message.
That link has got. Okay, so we will go ahead with the physical voting here, and we'll.
Actually, we'd like to vote online, electronic.
എനിക്ക് അടുത്ത ആഴ്ച വോട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. അല്ല ഇന്ന് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഇങ്ങനെയാക്കാലോ.
Yeah, so that link is not working as we can see. So we'll go for the physical voting here. Sorry, sir. Okay. Somebody to propose it, please. Sir. I propose. Okay, sir. Wing Commander Padmarajan proposes the motion. Sir. Okay, sir. Those in support of the motion may please raise your hands. Those in support of the motion. You can have a look around. I think it's a clear yes. Okay. Resolution 2, we are going to resolution 2, which is again nothing, it's the same SOP. First was the amendment and second is the SOP. Yeah, this is the resolution adoption of the election SOP. Yeah, somebody to propose and somebody to second, please. Colonel Sajad. Colonel Sajad sir proposes. Major, sorry, Commander, Lieutenant Commander CB, Sibin. Seconds. Those in favor may please raise your hands. It is unanimous, and we consider the both the resolutions passed. Thank you, sir. We will have a proper election coming AGBL. Yeah. So just for the information of members, with permission of the chair, sir, that point, you would like to explain? Okay, there is for the information of the members. There is we got a message today afternoon from one of the representatives that they have proposed an amendment to the eligibility criteria and the duties and responsibilities of organizing secretary to be taken up in this SGM. So we really discussed about the appropriateness of an amendment, a different kind of an amendment being taken up as part of a SGM which is convened for a particular purpose, and so would like to.
No, I think that can be discussed during the annual general body meeting because adequate time was not there. We have not gone through this.
No, there is no challenge. It's not at all a challenge. It's a totally different amendment to the bylaw which they are proposing.
We need not take up the amendment, but they can explain what exactly they want it done.
See,
the point.
Shelley, I'll just explain the legal position. It can be discussed, but that shall not go into the minutes of the special general body meeting.
Since everybody is here,
it is an informal discussion is permissible, but emergency EGMs and special general body SGMs can address only for what it is convened. If you discuss other things, it will not go into the minutes.
Because it's not there in the agenda. It was. It's not.
So you can discuss. You can explain.
Not meant for that.
It will not go into the minutes. It will be an informal discussion.
Online. Next one.
No, AGM, next AGM is online or it will be.
Yeah.
Sir, as I was just saying, sir, this is a thing specific to the batch concerned, and the batch has, it's about that, you know the agenda, sir. So, since it doesn't, the process doesn't accept it to be done today, as Colonel Sajad has said, can we discuss this point since this will be raised in the next AGBM, it will be online, sir. Today we are in maximum here as a batch, and we want to discuss here today, sir.
See, whenever AGM is concerned, convened, before that, there is a seeking of agenda points. As response to that, you can give your agenda point, any agenda point or any amendment you can propose. That will be considered and that will be presented in the AGBM. That is the way actually you have to put up a point in the AGBM.
Got the point, sir. Can we propose it now, sir?
For the next AGBM?
Yes, sir.
Of course, you can put for now also, again when the notice is given or points
somebody verbally proposing is much better, sir, that's why.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir, this is about the duties of the organizing secretary, the post. basically currently the organizing secretary is being nominated from the organizing batch actually. So at one time the OBA didn't have enough people to work. So that's why that time somebody was nominated as the organizing secretary, and he was given the duties of some jobs which currently the secretary is doing, like the student aid fund implementation, handing over of circulars, finalizing printing of invitations. So all these jobs, and then he had to compile all the matters of the society bulletin, and then coordinating the printing work for the society. So all these duties are assigned to the organizing secretary in the current bylaw. So what we are proposing is that those duties to be changed, and the duties of the organizing secretary should be in liaison with the school authorities, the master in charge, and all the stakeholders who are concerned for organizing the reunion of the Old Boys Day, that specific day. So currently it is not like that. It's like some organizing secretary is coming, his job is to do something else, written in the bylaw. So we want that to be changed, so that the organizing secretary
This is the
can,
point.
yeah, this is the jobs which is written currently in the bylaw. So we need it to be changed that the organizing secretary can, yeah, currently the OBA.
So your opinion, sir?
No, this is a very practical point, but it cannot be discussed here. It will be discussed at the general body meeting. Actually, the joint secretaries are meant to do these jobs rather than the organizing secretary.
There are two joint secretaries who are supposed to assist the general secretary, and the organizing secretary primarily is for conducting the next reunion, organizing and licensing matters related to the conduct of the next reunion. That is what was conceived actually.
Sir, since the point for which this particular special general body meeting was summoned, we have finished off the business of this special general body meeting. We have understood the point. How to go about it, we will see. In respecting the guidelines which is provided to us, how to go about it, we'll examine. But as of now, I would like to wind up this meeting, as the purpose for which it has been called is over. Now, you can clap, then I'll speak again. No, I have not accepted. I said it has been understood, the sensitivity has been understood of the subject. See, looking at the duties of an organizing secretary or something is not a trivial issue. It is a serious issue. It is to be discussed threadbare. It has to have a notice. I am to come prepared, you have to come prepared. There may be ifs and buts, not because of any animosity or because of any misgivings. It is because we as an organization or as a general body cannot be faltering in our steps, which future generations will look back and say they have taken amendments and they have run around things and decided on things without due deliberations, which doesn't reflect good on any general body. So that is not a fair thing. If it is a serious thing, definitely it has to have a considered thought, it has to have considered discussions, and we are all for such amendments which will contribute to the growth or and vibrancy of our organization. And I am convinced that organizations like ours have to evolve over time by iterative changes. We are in for it, but with due time and due deliberations. Thank you, gentlemen, for attending this meeting. This may be the last time that I stand before you as the president before the next elections. Though executive committee and things like that will meet. I just wanted to place on record our sincere gratitude to everybody for.
There will be another general body where you will stand before us as a president, because the elections will be ratified after that. So you still
then
have
I will
time.
not be standing. It will be sitting when, you know, I don't get to see people's faces. Okay. So very quick, I'll not take more than 2 to 3 minutes. You know, I just wanted to tell something which is very close to my heart, which I had been thinking. you know the circumstances under which this executive committee took charge. We held for the first time, we held a 12-hour meeting. Not 12-hour, a day-long meeting from 9 to evening 6 o'clock, EC meeting. And we did a lot of brainstorming on how to make our organization relevant, how to make us connect with the youth, how to make us connect with the new generation, how to evolve with times. And we listed down a lot of priority areas, and one by one, we attacked these. And as I have said in the morning, we are quite satisfied that much of what we are set out to achieve, we have been able to achieve. In this regard, I want to place on record my sincere gratitude to the executive committee members. Both the vice presidents, the general secretary, the joint secretaries, the treasurer, the batch representatives have done an outstanding job of sincerely contributing without any partisan considerations for the growth and vibrancy of our organization. And I feel extremely privileged, even nominally, to sit at the head of such an organization. I really felt proud and privileged. Then, out of that, I would like to make a mention of just two. One is about our treasurer. He has remained in the shadows, never occupied any limelight anywhere. This man is a software engineer and IT professional with no great formal education in accounting. He has literally burned the midnight oil to save every penny for us, hard-earned money of the organization. We were auditing our accounts with various agencies. I don't want to go into all that. We realized, to the extent that we were filing our income taxes under the wrong heads, he filed rectification claims, all this from a man who has no formal education of accounting or finance matters. And he has recovered already more than 2 lakh rupees? 3 to 4 lakh rupees for the organization in terms of IT recoveries alone for the past 4 years. He has successfully changed the head under which, sir, I'll check this just 2 minutes only. If I don't do this, I'll fail in my duty. He has successfully changed the head under which we file our IT returns, so that in future we will have a very minimal or negligible income tax to pay. This is yeoman service rendered by this man who has been at it, painstakingly at it, deliberately at it, and without ever seeking any limelight or refusing any public recognition of this fact. I felt proud that I could work with a man like this. Secondly, is the General Secretary. Now, a bit of it I said in the early morning. The General Secretary, I'm extremely happy with him, because there is a general feeling that people who don the uniform very young or in the military services are devoid of material in their upper story. This man has proved it wrong. And in that way, he has done a great service to me also. He has proved that he has tremendous intellectual caliber and ability to adapt to situations, and more than anything else, a willingness to work till the results are achieved. He had no clue of artificial intelligence. Real intelligence he did have, and anything else. And he has first created, if you see the registration today, nobody had to even get out of their four-wheelers. They had to sit there, just scan a QR code, and you are here. And the numbers were readily available to the organizers, like Pradeep knows how many people are going to come on dinner today. Or we know who all are coming. Is so-and-so coming, is so-and-so coming, is he coming with his wife? It's readily available. Fully created by him. Now this SOP, it is a marvel. Day before yesterday, I had the opportunity of sitting next to another old boy who is an IT professional and who knows the business, unlike me. And he told me, sir, let me be very honest with you. Whatever this man has put in place, if you have to get it done in the open market, it will be minimum 8 to 10 lakhs.
one suggestion here. Why don't we start an IT company, OBA IT company, headed by Shelley?
As it is, the coffers are bad. We must do something like that. Anyway, once again, I thank the executive committee members who have wholeheartedly supported me and worked sincerely for a cause that is making our organization vibrant, relevant, and active without any partisan interest, without any selfish interest. It was one of my greatest pleasures to preside over that meeting where it was freewheeling discussions which could go on and on. We had maximum number of EC meetings, at least 15 EC meetings in the past 1 year. And EC meetings which starts at 8 o'clock in the evening and stretches up to 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock the next day. And every EC meeting had at least stretched beyond 12 o'clock in the night. It is not that, we don't like to sleep. The discussions were so passionate and so involved. And I'm telling you, any man would feel very proud and privileged to sit at the head of such an organization. I thank each one of you. And I thank the General Secretary and the Treasurer. Gentlemen, you have been great. And let the election decide whoever comes. We will hand over to them nicely. And I hope they will carry the baton forward also nicely. Thank you very much.
Let the proud moment go on for one more year.
Can we request the treasurer to go on stage, because many of the people sitting here haven't seen him physically.
I was sincerely under the impression this gentleman is not here. That is why I went a little overboard. Huh? The meeting is broken off, sir, until we meet again. Anything else to say? Anything else to say? आपने ले लिया हमारी, मतलब और लगाओ. One year, you gentlemen have done a fantastic job. You have done a fantastic job which has furthered or which has brought glory to our organization. You have borne our burden with cheer, pride, and enthusiasm. I know that today evening dinner you guys are not going to come. So I want to sincerely thank you for this burden that you have taken for the past 1 year to let our organization's flag flying high. I don't want to go to individual events. There might have been instances, and I'm convinced there would have been instances, where you felt the executive committee is not listening to us, or the executive committee is not sensitive to us. We are doing all the work, and these guys are sitting in some office and demanding things, or the school authorities don't understand how much hard work we are doing or how much money we are collecting. Correct, now? I just want to tell you, I'm being honest and forthright. We hold you here. maybe the fact that I couldn't express it, or I never got an opportunity, or it was my failure that I did not reach out to you when you were in the thick of your work. But gentlemen, we remain grateful to you. You have done a fantastic work. I know I may not get to talk to you like this again. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, gentlemen, sir has already thanked the 99 batch, and I've already expressed my vote of thanks. But individually to the entire executive committee, All Boys Association, I should have taken the names, but I thought that it's going to prolong too much. So I thought that let me mention the captain, and the captain is Captain Breeze Anthony. So that I have already mentioned. So individually to everybody, Shelly sir, Rajesh Nair sir, Ram Mohan sir, Pradeep sir, entire executive committee members, I should not have taken names of someone, but then I thought I should not prolong because it was already 12:30. Thank you very much. And first thing, for the last 1 year, I have been there here in Trivandrum. I have been interacting with EC. Vinod is always there. I would have been a Boston person who got posted to Trivandrum. To be frank, the executive committee has never denied anything to us. Sir. Never denied anything. Everything was positive for us, including 83 Hall, Guru Vandanam, having the function the way in which we wanted. The badminton court inauguration, they just only told a rider that try and fit in the scheme in the given time of frame. I was being in uniform, maybe that would have come to my mind always and every time. So I was the one who was trying to rush it. We could have organized the Guru Vandanam much more in an elaborate way. But somewhere that back of the mind, that time was there. We pushed in and we could get the things in right frame of time, and we could get everybody seated at 9:15, or rather 5 minutes before 9:15, ahead of time. But yes, sometimes passionate about things, someone has to speak more. So it overshoot this time by 45 minutes. But in a bigger frame of mind, 45 minutes is nothing. Thereafter, we enjoyed the tea. We had a good interaction and a good lunch, organized everything. So thank you very much. And to be frank, as you told Breeze Anthony, sir, our one person is that man standing onto my left, who is too much dedicated into this thing. I think he should have been sitting here as a registrar or vice principal or principal. That guy was roaming around here in Sainik school yesterday when we all were enjoying in UDS. Literally, we have to tell him, you finish off and come here. Yeah. That is a private property. That will remain with 99. And to the school, to be frank, Colonel Dhirendra Kumar, the Vice Principal, Wing Commander M. Rajkumar, and our administrative officer, both Sarin and Abraham Philip, they were literally helping us. They never said a no to us. Maybe we would have been on a luckier side. I being in uniform and sitting as a director also, that definitely I could come here, meet them, interact. But for our batchmates also, Arvind was almost here for the infrastructure project. They never denied anything. At the end of the day, they told you plan, but try get the things in time, finish off in time. That was the only thing. So we, the batch of 99, on behalf of everybody, including our family members, our children, everybody, deep-heartedly thank the Executive Committee, All Boys Association, the entire batch reps, and everybody, and including the school authorities. Sir. Thank you very much, and this is from the bottom of the heart, literally speaking. Thank you. Thank you.